Hello everyone. So far we have always discussed discriminant analysis when there are only two populations. So we tried to find a rule to classify an observation in one of these two populations. Today we'll be discussing the case where we have more than two populations. So let P1, P2, Pk be K populations, and we have to classify a new observation into one of these K populations. Just like the earlier case, we would assume that each of these populations is multivariate normal. Okay, so population 1 is actually equivalent to p-variate normal with mean vector mu I and variance covariance matrix sigma. So please note that we are again assuming sigma to be common for all the populations. Okay, and of course we will assume that mean vectors are different, because if mean vectors are also same, then there is no point in discrimination. In fact, ideally, one of the first steps to discriminant analysis would be to carry out MANOVA or Hotelling t-square, depending on whether you have two populations or more than two populations. Because if the mean vectors are not different, there is no point in carrying out discriminant analysis. So ideally, we should first examine whether the mean vectors are different in different populations by carrying out either MANOVA or Hotelling t-square, and then if the mean vectors are different, then only we should proceed for discriminant analysis. Okay, so we have these K populations. So the Kth population will have p-variate normal distribution with mean vector K. Here I should write mu1. If I am writing p1, then mu1, I don't need I. And variance covariance matrix sigma. Okay. Let the PDFs of these K populations be denoted by F1, F2, Fk. PDFs of these K populations be denoted by F1, F2, Fk respectively. Okay. This discriminant analysis as well as the earlier two population case, whatever we are deriving is for the normal case, multivariate normal scenario. However, the same principles can be extended for other distributions also. As long as we know PDF and PMF, we can always apply the same principle and use those PDFs and PMFs instead. In fact, it is not necessary to have all the populations coming from same family. We can have discriminant analysis where one population is Poisson, other is binomial. That is possible. Okay, so as long as we know the form of PDF and PMF, derivations can be carried out to get a rule based on our requirement. So here we are considering the most common case, that is the multivariate normal case. Okay. Now, when we say okay, we are going to allot a new observation to certain population, what do you mean by that? What do we mean by that? So just for the sake of convenience, let me consider p equal to 2. That is, suppose I have bivariate populations only. So I can draw pictures. So now when I say that okay, I am going to form some discriminant analysis rule. So suppose we are dividing the space like this. Okay. So everything here is in one population, everything here is in another population, this is in one population, and so on. So suppose we are dividing entire space into 9 possible sets, and if an observation lies in say this particular set, we allot it to say population 6. If an observation lies in this set, we allot it to population 9, and so on. Okay, because the Fisher's discriminant rule would give us some discrimination criteria. Similarly, here we are going to derive some rule which will give us some criterion in such a way that given any observation, we would say it belongs to that particular population if it fulfills some conditions based on its value. So basically what we are doing is we are trying to classify R2 into K sets in such a way that these K sets form a partition. Partition means those K sets are mutually exclusive and exhaustive. Right? This is exactly what discriminant analysis is trying to tell us. That we are dividing our entire region into some K sets such that if an observation belongs to, say, ith set, we would allot it to ith population. And our job is to find out how these K sets are created. Means our job is to actually find out equations for these lines. So the differentiating lines. Right? In general, this can be extended to p-variate also. Right now I wrote bivariate so that we could draw picture. But this can be extended to p-variate case also. So what we do is finding a discriminant rule is nothing but finding a partition. Okay. Finding a discriminant rule is equivalent to finding a partition of RP. Okay. Right. So any rule can be written as that partition. So R1, R2, RK. What do we mean by this? A rule is written by a partition means what? We say that if X, an observation, new observation belongs to Ri, then we allot it to population I. We allot it to population I. Okay. That same thing can be expressed via indicator function. The rule can be expressed via indicator function. So we define phi ix to be 1 if x belong to Ri and 0 otherwise. So basically phi ix is indicator of ith set from the partition. Okay. Now couple of things to be noted. Phi x is indicator, so it takes only 1 and 0 as possible values. And because Ri is forming partition, phi ix would be equal to 1 for exactly one I. Right? For a fixed x. Let me repeat. For a fixed x, phi x would be 1 for exactly one I, because it would belong to exactly one of the Ri's. It can't belong to more than one, and it can't be, and we can't say that it belongs to no Ri. Okay, why? Because Ri's are forming partition of the entire space Rp. Right? Because of this, I can write that sum over I going from 1 to k phi ix is equal to 1 for every x. Correct? Because it is 1 for exactly one I and it is 0 otherwise. Okay. Now, let us define P j given I R. This is conditional probability. So, what is this conditional probability? So, probability that based on rule R means given this particular partition R1, R2, Rk, there can be multiple possible partitions. So given this particular partition R1, R2, Rk, X is assigned to Pj given that it is actually from Pi. Given that it is actually from Pi. Let me repeat. So based on the rule R, we are assigning an observation actually coming from population I to population J. So if I and J are not equal, then this becomes a misclassification probability. Correct? If I and J are not equal, then this is in some sense misclassification probability. So in general, if I want to write what is the misclassification probability misclassification probability for an observation coming from ith population. So what would this be? This would be sum over j I r, where j goes from 1 to k and j not equal to I, right? So I is fixed. Observation is originally coming from ith population, but it can be classified in any of the jth populations. So as long as j is not equal to I, that amounts to misclassification. So total misclassification probability for an observation coming from ith population is this. And if I want now the sum of all such misclassification probabilities, so this is for particularly observation coming from ith population. So if I want to generalize it to all the populations, then let T be sum of all probabilities of all misclassification probabilities. Okay, let T be sum of all misclassification probabilities. Then how would I write T? T would be written as sum over j going from 1 to k, j not equal to I, and at the same time sum over I going from 1 to k, p, j given I r. So the same thing, but now we are taking sum over observations coming from all the populations, okay, not just ith population. Is it okay? Now ideally an optimal rule would be the one which minimizes T. Okay, so optimal rule would actually be obtained by minimizing T. Am I right? Misclassification should be least, so T should be minimum. So let us try to represent T in some other format to see if we can find optimal rule. Okay. Now this to understand T, let me again focus on this conditional probability. P j given I r. What does this mean? This means that an observation coming from ith population is classified to jth population. So how do I compute this probability? So basically this happens when x belongs to Rj, given that x is actually coming from ith population, right? So probability of this conditional probability j given IR is same as, so when do I assign an observation to jth class based on rule R? If x is coming from, if x is belonging to Rj, that's what my rule says. If x is belonging to Rj, then we assign it to population j when it is actually coming from Pi. And this probability, we know by our usual theory, can be computed by taking integral over Rj of PDF of x. PDF of x is Fix. Why? Because x is coming from ith population. Is it okay? Correct? Now this same thing, integral over a certain set, can be written as integral of indicator of that set. So indicator of that set is phi j. So phi j x Fix dx over entire Rp, right? This we have done many times in probability theory or distribution theory, that integral over certain set is same as integral over entire space with indicator for that set. Okay, so this is now integral over entire set with respect to PDF. So this becomes expectation of phi j x, right? Expectation of phi j x, when expectation is taken with respect to ith population, so Pi and rth rule, rule R, so R is written here. Okay, so this conditional probability is actually expectation of phi j x with respect to ith population on the basis of rule R. Everyone with me so far? Okay. Now let us try to simplify t using this form. So my t is actually sum over I going from 1 to k, sum over j going from 1 to k, j not equal to I, and let me substitute. So it is epi phi jx r. Correct? Now j not equal to I, can I try to simplify it? So maybe I can make it j equal to 1 to k entire thing, pi phi jx r. Okay, ideally expectation should be with capital X. Okay, minus, because I am considering j equal to I case here, I need to subtract it. So minus j equal to I, sum over I going from 1 to k, j equal to I, same thing. Okay, e pi phi jx r. Okay, now this term will remain as it is. This term will remain as it is. Here j equal to I means actually I have sum over I going from 1 to k e pi r expectation of phi I x, because j is equal to I. Okay so far? And now let me focus on this term. These are two finite summations and I have expectation. So expectation and summation can be interchanged. And as soon as this j goes inside the summation, it becomes expectation over sum over phi j. Sum over phi j, sum over j phi j is actually 1. We have already used it above. So this becomes sum over I going from 1 to k epi sum over phi jx. Correct? Sum over j going from 1 to k, this term as it is. Okay, and because sum over phi j is 1, expectation of a constant becomes constant. So I just have sum over this entire thing. So this is 1. So sum over 1, so it becomes k. So I have k minus sum over I going from 1 to k e pi r phi ix. Okay, what is this? Let us try to pay attention. What is this? This is actually pi given ir using our earlier notation. So this is probability that an observation coming from ith population is classified into ith population. So this is actually correct classification probability. So this is sum over correct classification probabilities. Okay, and the sign says, so this is t equal to this. So minimizing t is same as maximizing this. Intuitively also it makes sense that you are minimizing misclassification means you are maximizing probability of correct classification. Okay, so we can either minimize t or maximize this. Okay, now but how to find this rule R? That is whole question. That's why we are doing all this exercise. Now to find this rule R, one possible suggestion from our earlier history is, can we say like in the earlier case that if a certain PDF has higher value than other PDFs at a particular x, then assign x to that particular population. Okay, so let us try to write down this rule and examine whether it is optimal. So let gx be maximum over I going from 1 to k fix. Okay, so what do I mean by this? It means gx is maximum over f1x, f2x, fkx. Okay, so you compute PDF by using all the k populations at that point and see which is maximum. And now consider a rule R star as we are writing as R1 star, R2 star up to Rk star. How do I define Ri star? In general, Ri star is collection of all those x for which Fix is same as Gx. It is same as saying that it is collection of all those x for which Fix is greater than or equal to Fjx for every j not equal to I. Means basically what I am doing exactly same thing which we did in the two population case. So suppose I have bivariate data, then suppose in this region F1 is highest, then I will call this as R1. In this region suppose F3 is highest, then I will call this region R3. In this remaining region suppose F2 is highest, then I will call it as R2 star. Okay, all these with stars. So basically Ri star is that region of Rp in which the PDF corresponding to ith population has highest value. Are you following me? The notation is slightly tedious, but the concept is pretty intuitive. Okay, so please try to listen again and it should be clear. Okay, so the rule as per this new thing would be phi I star x is equal to 1 if and only if Fix is equal to Gx. Okay, the new rule would be phi I star x is equal to 1 if and only if Fix is equal to Gx, that is Fix is maximum. Okay, now let us consider the thing that we want to maximize, that is we want to maximize the correct classification probability, right? So let us consider that sum of correct classifications, sum of probabilities of correct classifications. So it is sum over I going from 1 to k EPI R phi Ix. Okay, in general. We will try to see if the R star rule that we defined just now, the rule which says that allot x to that population whose PDF is highest at x, is it optimal? Okay, so this can be written as sum over I going from 1 to k. Let us write down the expectation. So expectation can be written as integral phi Ix Fix dx. Integral is over entire Rp. I am just writing down the formula for expectation in terms of integral. Now, this, can I say that this is less than or equal to, okay, less than or equal to integral phi Ix Gx dx over Rp? Why? Because Fix is less than or equal to Gx in general. Fx is equal to Gx only when Fix is maximum, right? Gx is maximum of all Fi's. So Fi is always less than or equal to Gx, irrespective of which x you are considering. Okay. Now this is equal to some integral Rp sum over phi Ix. Phi Ix can go inside now. Gx dx. I couldn't bring this thing earlier because I could bring this summation inside at this step also, but then I would have summation I phi Ix Fix and I don't know its value. But now that I have G which is free from I can use this. What is the value of this? Because of the fact that we are always having a partition, summation phi X is always 1 for every classification rule. Okay. So this is same as integral Rp Gx dx. Okay. Now I am sure some of you are now tempted to write this is equal to 1, because you are taking kind of integral over RP. But please remember, Gx is not a PDF. Gx is maximum of PDF. So for example, if I have two populations, say two univariate normal populations like this, then up to this range Gx takes this value, here onwards Gx takes this value. Okay, so Gx is this and this, so this is not PDF. Okay, this orange curve is not PDF, so Gx integral won't be 1. Okay, it is maximum of PDFs, it is not actual PDF. But now what I'll do is, I have kind of 1 sitting over here. That 1 can be written as sum over phi I star x Gx dx. Okay, so basically I am doing the same thing. Earlier summation phi I x I wrote as 1, and now I am bringing in phi I star, because somehow we want to bring in that optimal rule. Okay, now this is same as sum over I going from 1 to k integral phi I star x Gx dx. Now phi I star is 1 only when Gx is equal to Fix and it is 0 otherwise. Correct? That is how we have defined phi I star. So phi I star is 1 only when Fix is equal to Gx, means I can write this as phi I star x Fix dx, because otherwise anyway the integral is 0. When Gx is not equal to Fix, over that part phi I star is 0, so integral is 0, so I don't need to worry about it. Okay, integral is still over entire RP. Okay, now what does this mean? This is nothing but expectation again, because now Fi is PDF. Okay, Gx was not PDF, but Fi is PDF. So this is, this is expectation with respect to ith population of phi I star x with respect to rule R star, because now the partition considered is as per rule R star. Okay. So this is again sum of probabilities of correct classification, but now under the rule R star. So remember, we have less than or equal to sign sitting over here. Everything else is equal, but there is one less than or equal to, which tells me that this quantity is maximized for R star, because R is any arbitrary rule on LHS, whereas on right side I have the optimal the rule R star which we defined here. Therefore, total of probability of correct classification is maximized under R star. Okay, so my classification rule in K population case is assign X to ith population if Fix is greater than or equal to Fjx for every j. Okay, for every j. You can write it in terms of log also. Now I have some homework for you. Homework is, try to derive this rule for normal case. Means you just have to substitute Fix and Fjx and try to see if you can come up with some score function. I will give you the final answer also, but I want you to verify it. So ideally in the case of multivariate normal, what happens is you can come up with a score function for ith population Six, which is mu I prime sigma inverse x minus half mu I prime sigma inverse mu I. So this is known as discriminant score. Okay. So the rule says that compute this type of discriminant score for each population and assign x to that population for which this score is maximized. Okay. Of course, mu and sigma will have to be replaced by their estimates. Sigma we will replace by common estimate. So sigma hat would be S1 plus S2 plus Sk upon N1 plus N2 plus Nk. Okay, and mu hat is usual x mean of k ith population. Okay, so the rule says that compute discriminant score for all the k populations and assign x to that population for which this value is maximum. Okay, this rule comes from this. So your job is to substitute PDF of multivariate normal, cancel out things which can get cancelled, and see if you reach here. Okay, that I am leaving you, that I am leaving as homework for you. Okay. Of course, here we are assuming that every misclassification probability is equally serious. If it's not, we'll have to deal with that. And we can also incorporate prior probabilities here. So instead of saying just F1 greater than F2, we can say we have to check pi1 F1 whether it is greater than pi2 F2, where pi1 pi2 can be prior probabilities. So prior probabilities can either be taken as equal or they can be estimated by taking proportion of observations belonging to that population in my entire data. Is it okay? So think about this and try to solve. Okay. Let me stop here. Thank you.